Meta has just auto-enabled a new Facebook ads feature that is terrible for a lot of Facebook advertisers.
You can't keep getting away with this! You can't keep getting away with this!
It's probably active in your campaigns right now because it's been turned on by default. You don't want it to be. And in this video, I'm going to explain what it is and show you how to turn this thing off.
Turn it off!
So to see whether this feature is active in your campaigns or not, you want to go into your campaigns and then come to the ad level, which is where I am in a demonstration campaign here. And then if you go ahead and scroll down to just beneath the ad creative section, you can see where you enter in your primary text, headlines, etc. And you'll see this optimized text per person feature. Now, doesn't that sound like a great feature? Who wouldn't want to optimize text per person? When I dig into this a little bit more, you'll see why this is potentially such an issue for you. So if I hover over the little eye, you'll see how this works, right? Effectively, what Facebook are doing is they are taking what you write for your primary text, what you write for your headline, and what you write for your description, and they are moving those, whatever you've written, into other locations if they feel that that's going to improve performance, and they're doing this at the per person level. So if, for example, they feel that whatever you've written for your primary text is going to do better at the headline, in the headline slot, and vice versa, they'll switch them around, same for your description. Now, this might be a decent-ish option for brand new Facebook advertisers that don't really know what they're doing. They just entered in some good things about their product or service and they put it in there, and it gives Facebook flexibility to be able to move this stuff around. But for anyone that's even slightly beyond that very, very beginner phase, which is obviously the vast majority of my audience, that's not good. Just imagine now, think about what you wrote in your primary text, what you wrote in your headlines, how you thought about it, how you worked out what you wanted to be in those ads. And now Facebook's just going to go ahead and switch all that around. You could easily end up with ads that don't make sense. And obviously, as part of my job, I regularly go through Facebook, Instagram, just taking a look at the various ads that pop up. I always think that's a good exercise for anyone advertising on the platform. And I do feel like I've started to see some more ads recently that make less and less sense. And I think this is potentially part of the problem. Now, the optimized text per person option has been available for a while now. It's probably 6 months in. But the fact that Meta have now decided that this is auto-enabled, so you create a new campaign, create new ads, it's going to be on by default, I think presents a number of different issues, okay? And you can sort of think about, oh yeah, that could really present some problems. Now, I want to be very clear that this is different to the ability to create multiple primary text, multiple headlines, and then allow Meta to test those out. So you can see here under the primary text, we've got what you had about try up to 5 options, same with the headline, same with the description. That's something I would encourage a lot of advertisers to do. It allows you to test different headlines, different primary text options, etc., without needing to create tons of different ads. You can use this feature, and that's fine. This is different. It's the automatic switching between, say, we're going to put your headline in your primary text, and your primary text in your headline, and your description, which is probably the weirdest one. Imagine someone pops your description up into your headline. You think, well, that's not right at all. That's not going to work. With descriptions, are typically use something that's more call to action based. If you put that in the headline before anyone knows anything about the ad, imagine a headline that's like, click here to claim your free offer now. I don't like it. I don't like this at all. And I don't like that it's been auto-enabled. And what you can see down here is we've got this optimized text per person option, and we've just got enabled. There's no ability, seemingly, to turn this off, which is, on first glance, even more concerning, because you think, well, I don't want this, and I can't even turn it off. Now, you can actually turn this thing off. They've made it more complicated than they need to. It's a little bit hidden, but I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. Before I do, just wanted to quickly let you know about my company, Lead Guru, which is a specialist Facebook and Instagram ad agency. We create, manage, and optimize campaigns for our clients. If you want help with your Facebook and Instagram advertising, you want to get better results, you want a company to take it off your hands, we can almost certainly help you do that. So if you're interested, you can book a free call with one of my team members. Links in the description below. We do have a 3K per month minimum budget requirement, but if you do meet that, please go ahead and book a call simply to find out more at this stage. So how do we actually turn off this feature that I certainly don't want on the vast majority of my campaigns, and I don't think you do either, because as I said, there's no sort of toggle easy switch to click it here. What you need to do is turn off standard enhancements first. So if we scroll up, you'll see that there's a section here called standard enhancements beneath where you select your ad format. This may or may not be turned on by default in your ad account. It seems to vary between ad accounts. I don't know why. Some ad accounts have this and some ad accounts don't. Either way, Meta recommend it, and a lot of advertisers are using this now. It's sort of dressed up as a good thing. There are some positive elements to it where Meta's going to try and improve your creative for you automatically. It could be things like enhancing brightness and colors and that sort of stuff. So standard enhancements is a feature that sounds great. A lot of advertisers are using it. It's what Meta recommend. But if it means that you have to use the optimize text per person feature, it's not something that I would recommend. So you need to go ahead and deselect it. Whether or not it's turned on or not will depend per ad account, as I already said. And that then changes this feature down here, where we've now got a toggle. We can choose whether or not to optimize text per person. It's still turned on as default, even when you deselect standard enhancements. You just now have the option to actually turn this thing off. So if you go ahead and toggle that, the problem that we've been talking about in this video goes away. But you can see how this is going to catch a lot of Facebook advertisers out. There's a lot of people that aren't going to know, they're just going to see enabled and think there's nothing you can do about it. They're not going to know you need to turn off standard enhancements, and then you still need to go back and turn off optimized text per person. So one of the questions you might have is, why are Meta doing this? What's the point here?
Why?
What they're doing with the Facebook ad platform is really catering to those beginners, those new advertisers, and they're taking away functionality and taking away the ability to customize and specify that us more advanced advertisers certainly want to be able to do. I really don't like the idea that the ad being presented to my prospects could have text all in random places that therefore doesn't make sense. I really don't think that's good. And I think that, as I said, anyone that's not a complete beginner wants to be very careful with these sorts of features and wants to be turning this off. And we have to be careful as Facebook advertisers as we go on, and as the platform tries to automate more and more and more stuff, we need to be aware of it and often assess these things and turn them off if necessary. So I strongly recommend you go ahead and subscribe to my channel, because I will release videos when there are features like this that get turned on by default, and let you know if you do want to use them or don't want to use them. It's not like all new features are bad, some are really good. And I'll also let you know how you actually go about turning these things off, because as we've seen from this example, that could be more difficult than we like it to be. We always have to bear in mind that when Meta makes changes to the ad platform, they're doing so for their own interest. Now, often that aligns with ours as people who advertise on the platform. They want us to get better results because then we spend more and Facebook earns more money, etc., etc. So often they align, and that's great. But sometimes they're introducing features that take away control, and that might be better for them and everyone in their Facebook advertising audience, their community that does that, but maybe it's not as good for those of us that are trying to win at this game. And you have to remember that Facebook and Instagram advertising is a competitive market. You have to do a better job than other advertisers if you want to see good results. Therefore, if a lot of the flexibility is taken away with these sorts of tools, that can start to mean that just everyone gets the same results, it all becomes very homogenized, and you can't win at this game as easily. If you know how to go in and turn this sort of stuff off, that still gives you that competitive edge and create ads how you want them, that's great, but just really something to be aware of. Also, before you go, you may have seen that a lot of Facebook ad accounts have been disabled recently, and if you've had that happen or you want to make sure that your Facebook account doesn't get disabled, I'd strongly recommend you check out this video here. In it, I explain the actual reason why Facebook bans ad accounts and show you how to avoid your ad account getting banned. Well worth a quick watch.